Was Jay-Z's protective instincts as a father the real reason behind a shocking confrontation that landed him in the hospital? This is the question buzzing through social media and tabloid headlines, leaving fans of the legendary rapper, business mogul, and family man stunned. A sudden turn of events involving Jay-Z, Nelly, and Nelly's son, Cornell Hayes Jr., has ignited a firestorm of rumors, intrigue, and more than a little confusion. So, what really went down? How did Jay-Z find himself in the middle of a confrontation that left him hospitalized? And what role did Blue Ivy, his beloved daughter, play in this unexpected altercation? Let's rewind for a moment, stepping back from the frenzy of rumors and into the sequence of events that has everyone talking. Jay-Z, born Shawn Carter, is a name that echoes across not just a rapper, but a businessman, a cultural icon, and most importantly in this story, a father. His devotion to his family, particularly his daughter, Blue Ivy, has been a pillar of his public image for years. We've all seen glimpses of their bond, whether it's at award shows or through the protective way Jay-Z speaks about his children in interviews. But as it turns out, that protective nature may have set off a chain of events leading to an intense showdown between him and Cornell Hayes Jr., the son of fellow rapper Nelly. Cornell, like his father Nelly, is no stranger to the public eye, though he has mostly kept a low profile compared to his dad's career. While he's known for dabbling in music, his claim to fame is more connected to his father's legacy than his own. Yeah, when the news broke that Cornell had crossed paths with Blue Ivy, the daughter of none other than Jay-Z and Beyonce, a spark of tension ignited. And that spark, as we now know, turned into a full-blown fire. But before we dive into the shocking altercation that followed, it's important to understand the backstory. What led to this unexpected clash between Jay-Z and Nelly's son, and why the protective instincts of a father became a flashpoint for a physical altercation? They all started with rumors, whispers, really those kinds of whispers that travel fast in celebrity circles, jumping from person to person until they explode onto the public scene. Word had it that Cornell Hayes Jr. had developed an interest in Blue Ivy, harmless perhaps, but when you're Jay-Z, any man coming near your daughter, especially in the complicated world of celebrity relationships, can be cause for concern. Months, Blue Ivy, now a teenager, had begun stepping into the spotlight in her own right, whether it was her appearances with her mother Beyonce or her budding interest in fashion and entertainment. It was clear that Blue was growing up. And with that growth came new challenges, particularly for Jay-Z, who was reportedly having a hard time adjusting to his daughter's evolving life in the public eye. His protective nature was something the world had seen before, but this time it manifested in a way no one could have predicted. Rumors suggest that Jay-Z had caught wind of Cornell's interest in Blue Ivy and was not pleased. Conversations with close friends revealed that the hip-hop mogul wasn't keen on the idea of anyone, let alone the son of another rapper, getting too close to his daughter. Jay-Z, it was said, believed in keeping family matters private, but when it came to Blue Ivy, he was ready to defend her fiercely. Hunter Nelly, longtime friend, sometimes collaborator, and father to the young man at the center of this controversy. As a father himself, Nelly understood Jay-Z's concern. However, it's clear that Nelly didn't see Cornell's interest as a threat. After all, both Blue Ivy and Cornell were from the same world, a world of wealth, fame, and scrutiny. But where Nelly saw nothing more than youthful curiosity, Jay-Z saw a problem. Tensions between the two families started to bubble beneath the surface. Nelly, trying to play the middleman, had reportedly attempted to calm things down. He reached out to Jay-Z, assuring him that Cornell meant no harm. But Jay-Z, already in a protective mode, wasn't having it. Insiders suggest that Jay-Z felt disrespected, perhaps not by Cornell, but by the entire situation. After all, Blue Ivy was still a teenager, and Jay-Z wasn't about to take any chances when it came to her well-being. This mean came the moment when everything boiled over. Well, it's supposed to be a regular industry event. Nothing special, just one of those glitzy, glamorous nights where celebrities rub shoulders and photographers scramble for the best shots. Both Jay-Z and Nelly were in attendance, though sources say they had kept their distance for most of the evening. But as the night wore on, the simmering tension between them became impossible to ignore. Witnesses recall seeing Jay-Z approach Nelly at the event, seemingly calm, but those close to the situation could sense the underlying heat. The conversation quickly escalated, and it wasn't long before voices were raised. Onlookers described the scene as one of the most intense confrontations they had ever witnessed, two industry giants face to face with emotions running high. And then, in the midst of the verbal sparring, Cornell Hayes Jr. entered the scene. Whether he was there to defend his father or simply to calm the situation is still unclear, but what happened next shocked everyone. Reports suggest that Jay-Z, in a moment of fury, directed his anger at Cornell. Words were exchanged, and before anyone could intervene, things turned physical. A push, a shove, and suddenly Jay-Z and Cornell were locked in a scuffle that left everyone stunned. The altercation didn't last long, but the damage was done. Security quickly intervened, pulling Jay-Z and Cornell apart before things could escalate further. But the rapper, who is no stranger to physical confrontations in his younger years, was visibly shaken. Witnesses at the scene described the aftermath as chaotic, with onlookers scrambling to make sense of what had just happened. Jay-Z, who had taken a fall during the scuffle, appeared to be in pain. Medical personnel were called to the scene, and it wasn't long before Jay-Z was rushed to the hospital for what sources described as precautionary reasons. Though details about his injuries remain unclear, the fact that the mogul had to be hospitalized sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. As news of the fight spread, fans and media alike were left reeling. How did things escalate so quickly? What exactly was said between Jay-Z and Cornell that led to such a physical confrontation? And more importantly, what does this mean for the relationships between Jay-Z, Nelly, and their families moving forward? In the days that followed the altercation, both Jay-Z and Nelly kept a low profile. Public statements from their respective camps were scarce, with insiders suggesting that the two families were trying to resolve the matter privately. However, the damage had already been done, and the incident had sparked a media frenzy. Speculation ran rampant. Was this the end of Jay-Z and Nelly's friendship? Would there be legal repercussions for Cornell, or was this simply a heated moment that got out of hand? And most importantly, how was Blue Ivy reacting to all of this? After all, the entire confrontation has stemmed from Jay-Z's desire to protect his daughter, a desire that, ironically, had resulted in one of the most publicized altercations of his career. While details of Jay-Z's injuries remain vague, it's clear that the rapper is on the road to recovery. Close friends and family members have reassured fans that Jay-Z is doing well and is expected to make a full recovery. However, the emotional toll of the incident may take longer to heal. For Jay-Z, this confrontation was more than just a physical altercation. It was a moment where his protective instincts as a father collided with the complex world of fame and celebrity. And while the rapper has faced many challenges in his life, this particular one may leave a lasting mark. As for Cornell Hayes Jr., the young man at the center of the controversy, he has remained silent in the wake of the altercation. Whether or not he will address the situation publicly remains to be seen, but for now, the focus remains on Jay-Z's recovery and the resolution of the tensions between the two families. At the heart of the story lies a universal truth. No matter how famous or powerful someone may be, the love and protection of a parent for their child is a force unlike any other. For Jay-Z, this altercation was about more than just a fight. It was about defending his daughter in a world that is often unforgiving, particularly for those growing up in the spotlight. While the details of the confrontation may fade with time, the lesson is clear. When it comes to family, even the most powerful individuals can find themselves vulnerable. Jay-Z's desire to protect Blue Ivy may have led to an altercation with Nelly's son, but at the end of the day, it's a reminder that in the world of celebrity, family always comes first. As much as family comes first, this incident highlights the complexities of raising children in the public eye. Blue Ivy is not just any teenager. She's the daughter of two of the most famous people in the world, and her every move is scrutinized. Jay-Z and Beyoncé have always been fiercely protective of their children, shielding them from the media as much as possible, but there's only so much they can control. The altercation between Jay-Z and Cornell Hayes Jr. is a stark reminder of the pressures that come with fame, not just for the celebrities themselves, but for their families as well. For Jay-Z, the incident may have been a wake-up call. As Blue Ivy continues to grow up, more situations like this may arise, and navigating them will require more than just protective instinct. The challenge now will be finding a balance between safeguarding his daughter's privacy and allowing her to experience life on her own terms. Fame complicates everything, especially when it comes to relationships and personal boundaries. Let's extend. And what of Nelly and Cornell? This incident puts a strain on a relationship that has long been marked by mutual respect and camaraderie. For Nelly, watching his son become involved in a public altercation with a man he's considered a friend must be difficult. It stays whether the two families can reconcile remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, the math of this fight will have long-term consequences. Both Jay-Z and Nelly have always stood as pillars of their communities, men who rose from humble beginnings to achieve monumental success, often while supporting one another along the way. To see This friendship strained by the actions of their children is a reminder that no matter how rich or famous one becomes, the dynamics of family and friendship remain deeply human with all the complexities that come with it. As fans and the media continue to dissect every detail of this altercation, one thing is certain: this story is far from over. Whether this is a blip on the radar of celebrity drama or the beginning of a more prolonged rift between two hip hop legends, only time will tell. For now, all eyes remain on Jay-Z as he recovers and reflects on the events that led to that fateful night. The entertainment world is a whirlwind of narratives and unexpected twists, but through it all, family remains at the center of the story. Jay-Z's actions, while controversial, remind us that even the most iconic figures are, at their core, just parents looking out for their children. And sometimes that instinct can lead to conflict, even with those closest to us. Yet, as we reflect on this intense confrontation, it's important to remember that what we see on the surface is often only a fraction of the whole story. Jay-Z's protective instincts may have triggered the events that night, but they were likely built on years of navigating the complexities of fame, fatherhood, and public scrutiny. In a world where every action is magnified, where every choice is dissected by millions, the pressure to protect his daughter, Blue Ivy, must be immense. And for Jay-Z, a man who has spent decades building a career based on strength, loyalty, and resilience, that pressure may have pushed him into making decisions that he wouldn't have otherwise made in a different setting. The same could be said for Cornell Hayes Jr., a young man growing up in the shadow of his father's fame. What was meant to be a casual interaction with Blue Ivy quickly turned into a situation far beyond his control. In many ways, Cornell represents the next generation of celebrity children grappling with their own identities while dealing with the expectations placed upon them by their famous last names. As Nelly's son, he's no stranger to attention, but this incident marks a moment where his actions and the perception of them will shape his future in ways that may be difficult to undo. The ripple effect of this altercation is already being felt. Fans, once united in admiration for Jay-Z and Nelly, now find themselves taking sides, speculating about what this means for their careers and their families. Social media, always quick to latch on a celebrity drama, is filled with debate turning what was once a private family matter into a public spectacle. But behind the headlines and hashtags are real people, real emotions, and real consequences. As Jay-Z recovers and his family rallies around him, the world watches, waiting to see what will happen next. Will he address the altercation publicly? Will there be an apology, a statement, or perhaps an attempt to mend the rift between the two families? Or will both parties choose to remain silent, allowing the event to fade from the spotlight and slip into the annals of hip-hop history as just another example of the challenges that come with fame? And let's not forget the role of Blue Ivy in all of this. Although still young, she is becoming an increasingly visible figure in her own right. As she continues to grow up in the public eye, how will this incident affect her? Will it change the way she navigates her relationships, her friendships, and her own burgeoning career? For now, she remains shielded from the immediate fallout, but there's no doubt that the effects of this altercation will shape her experience moving forward. In many ways, this incident serves as a reminder of the fragility of relationships, particularly in the entertainment industry. Friendships that have spanned years can unravel in an instant when personal and family matters come to the forefront. Jay-Z and Nelly, once collaborators and peers in an industry that often pits artists against each other, now find themselves on opposing sides, not due to professional rivalry, but because of a father's protective instincts. This altercation may be the beginning of a shift in their relationship, or it may become one of those stories that blows over, a momentary blip in their lives. For now, though, the fallout is real and the consequences, both personal and professional, are impossible to ignore. The world of hip-hop, like any other, is built on relationships between artists, between families, and between fans and the figures they look up to. Jay-Z, Nelly, Cornell, and Blue Ivy are all players in this story, navigating the highs and lows of fame and family. But at the end of the day, this is a story about love, protection, and the lengths a father will go to ensure his daughter's safety, even in a world as chaotic and unpredictable as theirs. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.